To the corporate elite of Seattle, Chloe Walters was invisible. She was just the quiet, 22-year-old girl in the green apron, working the grueling morning shift at Green Cup Coffee, the busiest, most prestigious branch in the financial district. Every day, Chloe endured a relentless barrage of disrespect. The customers treated her like a vending machine with legs, snapping their fingers and barking complex latte orders without looking her in the eye. Her manager, Brad, was a petty tyrant who loved nothing more than cutting her hours, blaming her for others' mistakes, and reminding her that she was completely replaceable. Her classmates, who also frequented the shop, openly mocked her. Chief among them was Vanessa, a wealthy, silver spoon influencer in training who attended the same university. Vanessa would deliberately bring her friends to Chloe's register, giggling as she made absurd demands, once even deliberately spilling a hot macchiato on Chloe's shoes just to see her apologize. Honestly, Chloe, it's sad, Vanessa had smirked one morning, filming Chloe wiping up the mess for her social media. Some people are born to rule the world, and some are just born to wipe it down. Make sure you get that spot near the heel, honey. Chloe said nothing. She just nodded, kept her head down, and cleaned. But Vanessa, Brad, and the rest of the world made one fatal mistake. They assumed Chloe was stupid just because she wore an apron. In reality, Chloe was a senior cybersecurity and data analytics student on a full academic scholarship. She didn't work at Green Cup because she had no options. She worked there because she needed every single penny to pay for her sick mother's medical bills. And more importantly, Chloe possessed a rare, brilliant mind for algorithms. While her hands were busy steaming milk, her brain was busy building something that would change her life forever. For 18 months, Chloe spent her nights, from midnight to 4 in the morning, in her cramped apartment, coding. She had noticed a massive flaw in how major corporate coffee chains manage their supply chains, hyperlocal pricing, and automated inventory. She developed an AI-driven software called Beanmetrics. It was a revolutionary platform that could predict coffee consumption trends, optimize supply routes, and cut waste by a staggering 42%. It was worth millions. One evening, Chloe decided to pitch her software to a group of venture capitalists who were hosting a private tech mixer at the Green Cup Lounge after hours. Her manager, Brad, only let her work the event on the condition that she stay in the back and look presentable. During a lull in the evening, Chloe saw her chance. She approached a well-known tech investor, Mr. Sterling, and politely handed him a sleek, one-page breakdown of Beanmetrics. "Excuse me, Mr. Sterling," Chloe said confidently. "I've developed a predictive logistics AI specifically for..." Before she could finish, Brad snatched the paper out of her hand, crumpling it up. "What do you think you're doing?" Brad hissed, loud enough for the entire lounge to hear. "Chloe, you're a barista. You make coffee. You don't pitch tech. Go back to the kitchen and wash the blenders. Stop embarrassing this establishment." A few investors chuckled. Vanessa, who was at the party as a +1, laughed out loud. "Oh my God, Chloe. Stick to the espresso. You can't even get my oat-milk ratio right, let alone code." Chloe's cheeks burned. The humiliation was heavy, suffocating, and public. She looked around the room. Dozens of people were staring at her, smiling sneeringly or looking away with pity. She took a deep breath, looked Brad dead in the eye, and said, "Yes, sir." But as she walked into the back room, the tears didn't fall. Instead, something shifted inside her. The sadness burned away, leaving a cold, hard, calculating resolve. They wanted her to be a nobody? Fine. She would let them believe it, until it was too late. The next day, Chloe did something entirely out of character. She didn't quit. Instead, she became the perfect, most compliant employee. She smiled at Brad's insults. She cheerfully remade Vanessa's intentionally ruined drinks. She became completely unbothered. Why? Because she had used the investor list from that very party to contact Mr. Sterling's chief rival, Vanguard Tech Ventures. Vanguard's CEO, an old-school tech mogul named Marcus Vance, actually read Chloe's proposal. He recognized the genius immediately. Within 2 weeks, Chloe was invited to a secret meeting at Vanguard's headquarters. "This is flawless, Chloe," Marcus Vance said, looking at the simulation of Beanmetrics. "It could completely disrupt the food and beverage industry. I'm willing to buy the software and fund your launch. How much?" Chloe smiled. It was a smile her manager Brad had never seen. "I want a seed investment of $5 million, a 30% equity stake, and total operational control of the holding company we create. Marcus Vance stared at the young girl in front of him, impressed by her nerves of steel. Deal. What's the name of the holding company? Chloe didn't hesitate. Nemesis Holdings. Over the next 6 months, Chloe lived a double life. By day, she wore the green apron, taking insults from tech bros and wiping down counters. By night, she was the CEO of a rapidly rising tech entity. Nemesis Holdings quietly bore up stock, acquired regional logistics firms, and grew exponentially. Chloe's mother's medical bills were paid in full. She bought a penthouse across town. But she still kept her job at Green Cup. She was waiting for the perfect moment. The moment arrived on a rainy Tuesday morning. The corporate headquarters of Green Cup Coffee had been struggling with supply chain inefficiencies for months, the exact problems Chloe's software solved. Desperate, the Green Cup board of directors had entered talks to be acquired by a major tech investment firm that promised to digitize and save the franchise. That morning, the regional director, a harsh corporate man named Mr. Henderson, arrived at Chloe's branch alongside Brad. They were preparing the store for a visit from the mysterious, ultra-wealthy majority owner of Nemesis Holdings, the firm that had just officially bought out 51% of Green Cup Coffee. The atmosphere in the shop was tense. Brad was sweating through his button-down shirt, screaming at the staff to make everything spotless. Vanessa walked into the shop, wearing an expensive designer coat, looking to get her usual morning fix. She noticed the chaos. "What's going on, Brad?" Vanessa asked, leaning on the counter. "The new owner of the entire franchise is coming today. Vanessa," Brad whispered frantically. "The billionaire behind Nemesis Holdings. If this place isn't perfect, I'm fired." "Oh, wow," Vanessa purred. "Maybe I can get a selfie with them for my feed." She turned her head and saw Chloe calmly wiping down the espresso machine. "Hey, Chloe. Hurry up with my drink. And try not to look so miserable. You might scare away the billionaire." Chloe looked up, smiled gently, and checked her watch. It was exactly 8:59 a.m. "Your drink is ready, Vanessa," Chloe said softly. Suddenly, a sleek, black Maybach pulled up directly in front of the coffee shop. 2 security guards in tailored suits stepped out, opening the back door. Brad practically tripped over his own feet rushing to open the coffee shop door. Mr. Henderson, the regional director, straightened his tie, his face pale with nerves. Everyone in the shop turned to look. "Good morning, CEO Walters," the guard said respectfully, bowing his head. "Your change of clothes, and the contract documents for the termination review." The entire coffee shop went dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. Brad's jaw literally dropped open. Vanessa's phone slipped from her hand, clattering loudly against the tile floor, the screen shattering. Mr. Henderson looked like he was about to faint. Chloe calmly untied her green apron. She folded it neatly and placed it on the counter. She took the designer trench coat from her guard, slipping it on over her clothes. She looked entirely different, poised, powerful, and radiating an undeniable aura of authority. She walked out from behind the counter and stood in the middle of the cafe. "Mr. Henderson," Chloe said, her voice calm, clear, and commanding. "Ms. Walters," Henderson stammered, sweating profusely. We had no idea. If we had known you were the genius behind Nemesis." "If you had known, you would have treated me like a human being," Chloe interrupted, her voice cutting like ice. "But because you thought I was just a nobody barista, you allowed this store to become a breeding ground for toxic, abusive behavior." Chloe turned her gaze to Brad. The manager looked as if he might drop to his knees. His legs were visibly shaking. "Brad," Chloe said. Ms. Walters, please," Brad begged, his voice cracking. "I was just doing my job. I was trying to keep standards high. I have a mortgage." "You told me I was completely replaceable, Brad," Chloe said, a faint, sharp smile touching her lips. "You crumpled my dreams and threw them in the trash. You cut my hours when you knew my mother was sick. You are right about one thing, though. Some people are replaceable. As the majority owner of Green Cup Coffee, your employment is terminated, effective immediately. Security will escort you out. You are banned from all franchises." The security guard stepped forward, grabbing Brad by the arms. He didn't even fight back. He just sobbed quietly as he was led out into the rain, disgraced in front of the entire neighborhood. Chloe then turned her attention to Vanessa. Vanessa was frozen, her face completely pale, clutching her broken phone. The influencer, who always had something cruel to say, was completely speechless. Chloe walked up to her, stepping right over the broken phone. She picked up the lukewarm latte she had made for Vanessa minutes prior. "You know, Vanessa," Chloe said, looking at the cup, "you once told me that some people are born to rule the world, and some are born to wipe it down." Chloe tilted the cup, pouring the sticky, sweet liquid slowly and deliberately onto the floor, right over Vanessa's expensive designer shoes. Vanessa gasped, jumping back, but she didn't dare say a word. "Make sure you get that spot near the heel, honey," Chloe whispered, echoing Vanessa's own words back to her. Chloe turned to Mr. Henderson, who was trembling, waiting for his fate. "Mr. Henderson, promote the assistant manager, Sarah, to Brad's position. She was the only one who ever showed me kindness. And clear this store out. I want to remodel." "Yes, Ms. Walters. Right away." Henderson bowed repeatedly. Chloe walked toward the exit. The customers who had snapped their fingers at her for months now stood in awe, pulling out their phones, realizing they had just witnessed the ultimate corporate takedown. At the door, Chloe paused, looking back at the green logo one last time. She had spent 18 months serving the city its morning caffeine. But today, she had served something much better. Revenge, she realized, was a dish best served cold, but it tasted a whole lot better with a hint of dark roast. Chloe stepped into her Maybach, the door clicked shut, and she drove away into the Seattle rain, leaving her past in the rearview mirror forever.